Do you need this lens? No. But possibly. Maybe you want to complete the trifecta of GM Mark IIs and want a lens that is now designed as well for photo as it is for video. So you can finally vlog, shoot landscapes, real estate, architecture, but with a more modern Sony lens, while also being able to take advantage of some of the benefits of using a newer Sony lens with a newer Sony body. If that sounds like you, then the new 1635 GM Mark II f2.8 is the one you should be looking at. But the question remains still, is it really an upgrade over the GM Mark I? Yes, it is. It's 10% smaller than the original, while being 20% lighter. That's 133 grams less than the original. It has a 0.32 max magnification versus the original, which is 0.19. Minimum focus distance is 8.6 inches from 16 all the way to 35 versus the original's 11.1. Now that's not really for macro, it's more so you can maximize the depth of field so you can get a little bit closer to things, because with wide angle lenses, you don't get a huge amount of depth of field unless you're pretty close to things anyway. The focus breathing on this is handled excellently, even more so if you pair it with one of the newer bodies from 2022 and onwards, where you have the focus breathing compensation and it all but eliminates it. This also pairs so well with the newer bodies when it comes to the stabilization, the active stabilization specifically. Standing still, walking, vlogging, just general video. You'll see how well the stabilization works on this. It's the best that we have in any 1635 lens that is out now, including the third-party ones, because obviously Sony is always going to be better than the third-party ones. That might be a big reason for you. When it comes to sharpness, it's exactly what you'd expect with every single Sony lens that comes out now. Tack sharp in the middle, in the corners, corner to corner. The whole frame is sharp. Design-wise, it's got all the bells and whistles that you'd come to expect with any Sony lens that comes out now. You're really starting to see a trend of what Sony is doing. They're basically trying to Mary Poppins each lens. It's
practically perfect in every way.
And the great thing about that is whether you're shooting stills or video, it doesn't matter. The lenses are designed with both in mind. It's got an aperture ring on there, clicky, but you can also declick it. For your video, declicked, photo, clicked. Nice clicky autofocus manual focus switch. A linear focus ring, meaning, and it's actually quite nice on this one, it feels like loose, but consistently kind of good. That's the best way I can describe it. That's not a good way, I know, but that's what it feels like. Anyway, it's linear, so it feels more like a traditional manual focus lens where there's actually things in here turning when it's not actually anything in here turning, because it is a focus by wire lens, but it's linear, that's what they call it. Meaning if you want to replicate the same focus movement by turning it, if you're in video, in focus, out of focus, back in focus, you can do so a little bit easier because it's linear. That's very much more a video feature than a stills feature. So if you're buying this video, it's a good thing. 2 focus hold buttons, one there, one there. You can assign those to whatever you want. Be in focus, not be in focus. No, why would you do that? Eye autofocus on, eye autofocus off. There's a bunch of things you can do with it. Now at its widest, which is actually 16, the barrel actually extends. It doesn't actually come out that far, and the weight transfer in here isn't really doing anything when you extend the barrel there, even though it looks like it does, which means if you put it on a gimbal, even though it really doesn't matter these days if the gimbal is perfectly balanced or not, if it's a little bit off balance, it picks up for it. It's good to know that the center of gravity really isn't changing in there that much, so if you do zoom in or zoom out, it's not gonna throw off your gimbal. More so if you have an older gimbal than anything else. It's weather sealed in all the places. Gasket at the back there. There's a gasket behind every crevice, behind every button, behind every switch. So it is weatherproof, airproof, dustproof, all the proofs. The trifecta is complete. It's a really weird phrase to say at the end of a video.